Hello and welcome to the December subscription coffee tasting. Merry Christmas, everyone! We are now going to taste the 3 coffees we are sending out to all our coffee subscribers on the first Wednesday of December. And to do that, I have with me myself and 3 coffees. That's all we need in order to do a coffee tasting. Now, you don't have to have 3 of our coffees. You can also have some other people's coffees. It can be an instant coffee or something, but I highly recommend having something to compare the coffee you will receive to, because it makes it a lot easier to taste and describe the flavors that you actually taste. Now, if you don't know what a coffee subscription is, it means that I actually select the coffees that we send out to all our subscribers around the world, in Norway, in the US, in Denmark, everywhere. And we prepare the coffees, send them out on the first Wednesday of the month, and you can subscribe to up to 6 bags of coffee per month. You can pause the subscription, you can cancel the subscription at any time you like, but hopefully you will continue subscribing for as long as you live, because we will send out delicious coffee to you every single month. So if you crave delicious coffee every month and you like the style that we roast, then this might be a coffee subscription for you. Let's get on with the tasting, because I'm really excited about this. We are actually tasting some coffees that we don't have a lot of, so most of these coffees will be exclusive for our subscribers. We might have a little bit left that we can sell later on, but most of it will go to our subscribers. So let's start with the first one, which I had actually planned to have as a Christmas coffee, but we just didn't have enough. And it was perfect amount to send out to our subscribers. So the first bag we will send out to all our subscribers is a Pacamara variety from Los Pirineos. And Los Pirineos is, for many people, a famous farm in El Salvador. It's on top of a volcano, and it used to be run by Gilberto Barahona, which was a good friend of mine. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, but his son and daughter is now in charge of the farm, and they're doing a fantastic job. And I have to say, the quality this year is amazing. And of course, that's partly because of Gilberto's work, because it takes a lot of time to develop quality on the farm. But obviously, it takes a lot of logistics and processing and everything. So I have to say to the whole team at Los Pirineos, they did a fantastic job this year. Now, this Pacamara is, for me, probably the best Pacamara I've tasted from this farm. And that says a lot, because Gilberto has many, many placements in the Cup of Excellence competition in El Salvador. So for me, this is really, really nice, very fruity and very characteristic and delicious Pacamara. Let's taste the coffee. First of all, it's really, really juicy, and by juicy I mean it's really mouth-watering and refreshing. It's got a really nice acidity. It reminds me of when I eat like nectarines or something like this. It's also quite winey, and by that I mean, the kind of feeling you drink when you drink white wines, maybe like Riesling or something like that. You have this kind of acidity and complexity that's there. Super sweet, very clean, and just a really, really nice Pacamara, I think. I've never actually tasted this coffee so distinct and so fruity as it is this year, so I'm really happy about this. It's not as powerful as it can be. Normally the Pacamaras are quite full-bodied and they have this kind of lingering bitter finish, but this is just so nice and fruity and refreshing. I'm not sure what they actually did with this coffee, but whatever they did, it's fantastic. Now, it's honey process, but I don't feel a lot of that ferment flavor that you can get from honey processed coffees. And that's because this is what they call a yellow honey, so most of the mucilage was removed before the coffee was dried on the raised beds. So first coffee, Pacamara variety or cultivar. Pacamara cultivars are crossing between Pacas and Maragó sheep, which means the beans are quite big from the Maragó sheep, and it's quite fruity as well, because Pacas is quite fruity normally, and Maragó sheep as well. So this is a variety that has been kind of developed partly on Gilberto's farm by Procafé in El Salvador. So he made some really, really nice selections of the Pacamaras that he planted on his farm. And I think his kids are now seeing the benefits of that, because this coffee, for me, is really, really, really tasty. Cool, and now to the second coffee. So the second coffee we're sending out, if you subscribe to 2 bags or more, you will get a bag of this coffee. It's actually also a Pacamara coffee. I just wanted to make it kind of slightly themed. But the second Pacamara is from the Caballero family. And Caballeros, they live in Honduras, in the town of Marcala, and their farms are around the mountains around that town. It's actually normally when I go to Central America, I would first fly to El Salvador and visit Los Pirineos. And then I would drive to Honduras, or to the border of Honduras, and then Marisabel and Moises will pick me up there and drive me to their farms in Marcala. They also have made a good selection of Pacamara, because there are many different types of Pacamara out there, probably because they were released at different times, different generations. Some of them taste better than others. But I have to say their Pacamara has been tasting great in the past, and it's also this year tasting really, really nice. It's much more subtle in the fruit flavors than the Pacamara from Los Pirineos. But it's really, really sweet and textured, and maybe has a little bit more of this kind of dark chocolates. Some orange flavor in there, and by orange I mean, you know, when you eat chocolate with orange flavor, that kind of orange. Sort of like candied, a little bit orange peel. A bit more herbal than the Los Pirineos. Los Pirineos is so fruit forward. This is much more towards like really smooth and sweet textured, more chocolatey, a little bit of that orange peel. Yeah, there's some fruit flavor there, but it's much more subtle. So same variety, grown not far away from each other, but one in Honduras, a different climate, I have to say. The Caballeros farms, it's normally quite cold there, so they have problems with frost from time to time, where the coffee trees become brown and don't produce. So it can be quite cold there, and there's a lot of pine forests around. It's quite dry climate as well, but it can also be a little bit more misty and humid compared to the Los Pirineos, which is on top of a volcano, so it's normally very dry throughout the harvest, and much more sun, a little bit lower altitude. Nevertheless, both very nice coffees, so different areas. Probably not the exact same Pacamara, but close enough genetically so that it's a nice comparison, I think. Cool. The third coffee, I have to say, probably one of my favorite coffees this year. It's a Kenyan coffee, no surprise. But this is by far the best Kenyan coffee we bought last year, and it's from a small estate called Kiahia. It's located in Nyeri, and this farmer mainly grows SL28 and SL34. He didn't plant the Ruiru in Batian that you might get in a mix of coffees from these cooperatives that we normally buy from. This coffee is just delicious. Oh man. You know how Kenyan coffees very often are quite acidic? They still have fruit flavor. This is much more kind of polished in the acidity. It's not as sharp. It's really big-bodied and kind of oomphy. It reminds me of drinking like heavy red wines. It's so full of fruit flavor, like blackberries, blackcurrants. So juicy, powerful, intense and sweet. And acidic, but you don't really mind that acidity at all, because it's so rich and full-bodied and so full of flavor. Definitely my favorite Kenyan coffee this year. And hopefully we'll be able to buy more of that. I haven't actually been able to visit this farm because I was supposed to, and then COVID-19 started, so I couldn't go to Kenya. But hopefully next year I will be able to go and visit this farmer, because we bought a little bit of this coffee last year, But this year we bought enough so that we could send out to our subscribers, and it's also one of our Christmas edition coffees. Cool, so 3 very different coffees here. I hope you really enjoy them, and all I can say is Merry Christmas and hope to see you next year. Hope you will subscribe to our coffees as well, and Happy New Year.